You think that working a 9 to 5 is for losers, so you decide to quit your job and try a few business ideas, but none of them work. And now you're broke and unemployed. In this video, I want to talk about a strategy that I've used to don't end up in this situation, and why I believe that having a 9 to 5 job is the best way to quit your 9 to 5 job. This is Freedom Engineering, the channel where I document my process of becoming financial free so that you can do the same. In 2021, I started working as a software engineer, and after a couple of years, I realized that the idea of working for the next 40, 50 years as a software engineer closed in the office really scared me. So I started looking for an alternative. And that's when I discovered this group called FIRE, where people claimed that it was possible to retire before retirement age if you had a very high saving rate and if you invested into the stock market for years and years. But the issue is that cutting your expenses is limited and it decreases your quality of life. And quite frankly, I don't like the idea of having to be so careful about how much money you spend every month. For example, you can't go to this restaurant, you cannot live wherever you want, you cannot do the activities you want because that's too expensive. To me, that's crazy. I want to live a life where I don't have to think too much about how much money I'm spending. Of course, within limits. If I go to a restaurant and I'm old, I want to just go to the restaurant and just order whatever I want without caring about the price when I'm old. Right now I can save, but the idea of having to save for my entire life is not good to me. What kind of life is it? So I thought, instead of focusing only on cutting the expenses, why not focusing over increasing the income? I think the best way to do that is through a business, even better if it's an online business because it's more scalable. You know, creating a business, a successful business, a business that makes money is extremely risky. But that's what I did. When I decided I wanted to start a business, I didn't just quit my regular job and start a business. First of all, because I didn't know what kind of business I wanted to start with. And second of all, because I believed that I didn't have the competencies that allow me to have a successful business. So here's what most of the people do. They have a business idea. So they quit their job, they work on a business, some of them quit, some of them create successfully the business and they launch it, but then the business doesn't work out. So they end up with no job and no savings left because they invested all the money they had to create a business. And that's an extremely stressful position to be in. But me, I kept my job and I started working on my businesses at the same time. And I've used my job as a bank for all my businesses. And the biggest tip I can give you is get a job that pays well, but most importantly, give a job that gives you a lot of free time. Get a job that allows you to work remotely. So what you can do is that you work as hard as you can to finish all the tasks of the day in the shortest period of time possible. And then, let's say you have 8 hours of work, you spend 4 hours of work on your actual work, you work very hard, and then for the rest of the 4 hours, you use them on your business. And then you also work on the weekends. My job was paying me $4,000 a month. And I was using that money to, of course, live, have a good life, not too good, but like good life, and invest in my businesses, tools, people, hiring people, invested in books, so my personal knowledge, personal development, and then all the rest would go into the stock market. That was my strategy. And then not only my 9 to 5 was investing into my businesses, but it was also investing in other people's businesses. And I decided to do this strategy because I wanted to reduce the risk. In case none of my businesses worked out, I would still have a plan B of becoming financially independent. The question now is, why did it take me 3 years to quit my job? Well, that's because I failed many businesses. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I tried this, didn't work out. I tried that didn't work out. And then at some point, I made a business that I thought, oh, I could do this. This could actually replace my job, long term, of course. And this is the message that I want to bring to you, is that it took me 3 years of hard work, of many failures, to quit my job. And because of my 9-to-5 job, I was able to have, a period with a lot of failures, but it wasn't that stressful because I still had a job, I still had an income, and I wasn't risking to have a burnout because I knew that this time was kind of a special time where I was trying stuff, I was learning a lot. And also, I knew that if nothing would have worked out in 10 years, 15 years because of my saving rate, I would have been able to become financial free. So my personal advice is get a job. If you can, get a good paying job that doesn't stress you a lot, that allows you to have a lot of time, and then don't quit it until you find a business that can work out. And use your job as a bank for your business. And only then, once you find a good business, then you quit your job. That's it. Thank you for watching.